Yo, Inca, you want to come out here? Welcome back to another MDA review preview. I am Avery, or Incog for short. Let's get right into it, man, because this was a pretty good week for battles. And of course, we're back on schedule. These are going up on Sundays. There might be another video going up on today, maybe. Haven't quite decided yet. I don't want to spoil it, of course, but there might be. Not like MDA based, but definitely drafting based, maybe. Regardless, let's talk. So, first battle of the week was unfortunately, the defeated teams. Somebody had to win, and somebody had to lose, and Texas picked up their first win of the season. Set victory 2-1 over the Zigzagooners. Great Texas decided to bring the Koraidon, Great Tusk, Diancie Mega, Hisuian Electrode, Entane, Primarina, while the Zigzagooners Great picked up Vaporeon, Mega Charizard Y, Rillaboom, Ditto, Buzzwole, and Iron Thorns, and a pretty good game one by Mark. I can't lie to you, it really did look good from the outset, and then, you know, that game two definitely could have gone better, and then Diancie decided, you know what, rent is due, and decided to go ahead and get itself back into the action of getting kills, and it did, ending up at 7-2 on this week, which is really, really good. Definitely a good game by both teams. Obviously, they both needed a win this week in order to at least keep up in the playoff race, and this definite win for Texas definitely keeps them in that spot of could they make it as a 6th or even a 5th seed. Meanwhile, unfortunately, given the differential and given how bad things have been, unfortunately, this does eliminate Mark from playoff contention at 0-5. Unless everybody else decides to lose out and he wins his last 2 games, it's not looking good. And his last 2 games are not exactly easy to win. So I'll call it there. Regardless, still a really good game by Mark, but QSN definitely had a really just a better game overall, and glad to see Mega Diancie finally pulling its weight, because definitely felt like Mega Diancie was going to be a part of that club of Mons that just couldn't get it together, and I'm very glad that it did. So, congratulations to the Texas Toast Girl on their first win of the season. But let's move on to the next game, which was certainly a game of all time. So, we do see the Electabuzz Little League beating the Orlando Silver Beartics 2-0. This was really good, just in general for Oscar, just because it could have really been worse, but let's talk about it. So, we do see the Ursaluna, Thunderous, Therian, the Annihilate, Deoxys Attack, Avalugg, and Chandelure. And of course, all this really did for this team was really say, well, if he's not going to ban anything, I'm just going to bring my best guys. While on the other side, while Finny was definitely banned, we did see the Necrozma Dustmane, the Landorus Therian, Palmont, Delmise, Mega Charizard X, and Lycanroc, and definitely could have gone either way both games. I say more so game 2 it could have gone either way. That game 1 was definitely close. Like, both games were very close, as you can probably tell based on the statistics. But, you know, I definitely think that both teams definitely played their heart out, and definitely, given how things could have ended up, Ian definitely tried more than usual, which honestly good on him, you know, good on him, because he could have easily just said fuck it and just decided to give up basically each week and not play the game, but he did his damnedest to win this game, and it almost worked both times. I'm gonna be honest. Regardless of that, congratulations to Oscar. He played a really good game this week. Deoxys Attack once again proving that it is an Uber that is very comparable and it doesn't need to be said, but it is rather understated how good that Mon can truly be in comparison to other Ubers. Of course, we also did see Annihilate put in some work. We definitely saw Avalugg put in a little bit of work. And of course, you know, on the other side of things, Ian definitely his team's really offensive. So you're always going to get some really good KDs on his team with his higher tier Mons as well. So once again, congratulations to Oscar against 2-0 victory. Let's move on to the next game of the week, which was the Stockton Shureledge versus the Flora Fluttermanes. And there's not much commentary I can give that will explain why King Gambit has 9 kills. There's none. So, I will tell you that you need to watch this game. Game 2 is just a simple classic mistake of I forgot that this mod has this ability, and it went from there. Honestly, it went from there. And, you know, it is what it is sometimes. It is what it is. I wish I can explain to you how things really went, but, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. King Gambit gets does some really good stuff, and then boom, shit happens, and I guess it's Panthers who it happens to. You might as well watch that game too, because the game 1 was really good, but I definitely think that, you know, since Panthers doesn't really play too much of this generation and such, you know, it happens. It definitely does happen. So forgetting about Defiant definitely defined this game. Go ahead and watch the 2 games and enjoy it, because, you know, Bloody is making his run back, trying to make sure that he gets his W's now, because, man, it's gonna be something. Anyways, good job to Bloody on his 2-0 set victory. Pandros just has to try and just win out these last 2 games to really clinch playoffs, or at least get in the mix for a good seeding. But, you know, I've seen things happen before. I've seen stranger things, not the show, but just things that happen very strangely. Puns regarded. Let's keep it going. This is the Undefeated Bowl, and we saw the Righteous Annihilate come out on top 2-0. So let's talk about it, shall we? There's not too much to talk about, unfortunately, for game 2, which I will tell you that Sandy did unfortunately forfeit. Wasn't having really a great week, or a great weekend, I presume. So, you know, game 2 definitely just gave all the rest of the kills to the mousehold there. But game 1, a good classic matchup, a really good matchup, really like solidified that Primer is very much here to, you know, sweep up whoever he has to and really go about winning the game no matter what the means are. And Sandy definitely played a really good game 1, but that game 2 definitely stung a lot for him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really have too many notes on this game because there wasn't really a game 2. But you can watch the game 1, and then you can watch whatever there is of game 2, and you come to your own conclusion of, damn, this could have gone better, but it didn't, unfortunately. But it be like that sometimes. It really do. Congratulations to Primer. He remains undefeated, while Sandy does drop at least 1 game this season, which does mean that Primer is the last undefeated team at 5-0 plus 30, with the 4-1s being Electabuzz Little League and Malformed Mayhem at 4-1 plus 11 and plus 10 respectively, while Bloody shooting his way back up at 3-2 plus 18. And then you get to the other half. Flora at 2-3 and minus 9, while Orlando holding on to that last slot at 1-4 minus 8, Texas at 1-4 minus 17, and Zigzagoon is great at 0-5 minus 39. Now, of course, Ian can definitely drop out of playoffs should Texas decide to get their ish together and move on up. And of course, that does also mean that I think they play this week, so this is definitely a playoff push sort of week for a lot of teams. So let's just make sure we're on the lookout for who's going to win, who's going to lose, and make sure everyone's trying their hardest as much as they possibly can. But with the first game of the week, we have, holy moly, the game of the week. 5-0 Rage Fist, 3-2 Stockton, and we see the Iron Treads ban and the Mew ban. I'm honestly going to tell you, I think this is a 2-1 set in Rage Fist's favor, but I definitely think that Bloody's on a really good streak. He's definitely going to give Primer a run for his money. While Mew being banned isn't really the craziest thing in the world, it definitely does matter to the transform and the idea that, you know, Mew can definitely be anything, literally. I think that Eternatus is definitely going to maybe put up some numbers, and if Eternatus doesn't show up, then we're definitely going to see the King Gambit Mamoswine show. I think both those mons are really good this week. I think offensively, you're looking at maybe even a Hisuian Typhlosion week. Tornadus Therian, since it got banned last week, definitely can put up a lot of good numbers as well, but that really comes down to how well defensively can Primer's team handle it, and it doesn't really do it. Without Iron Treads being even like Assault Vest or even here, it becomes a very challenging process to deal with Tornadus defensively. You know, Milo can deal with it as much as it can, but, you know, Mirror Coat can only do you so well the first time you use it. After that, I mean, Tornadus can set up the +6 and just start hammering home everything. While Unaware Clef is really good, I still think that Primer has a team that makes it very obvious that maybe you were not bringing Clef this week. But I've been wrong before. On the other side, though, Primer probably does a really good job with Miraidon this game. Miraidon can run Overheat from Swine, and Glastrier and Electric and Dragon is very good this week, especially into a team that doesn't really have too much counterplay besides like Vikavolt with its Terra, and then realistically, I mean, Eternatus can outbulk most attacks, but it has to be very careful, of course. But definitely Primer 2-1. I think that this is going to be a very interesting game. Either way, we could see the last undefeated team go down or possibly be 6-0 next week. I've seen a lot of things happen before, but both these coaches, one of them is still striving for that #1 seed, while the other one is just playing their heart out, and I'm very proud of Bloody. He didn't have the greatest start to the league, but he's definitely been making it up in spades, so that's really good. Regardless, moving on to the next game we have, it's gonna be the Malformed Mayhem and the Flora Fluttermanes. Oh boy, here we go. So one team losing last week really would like to get back on track, and definitely, despite their 4-1 record, you know, definitely still wants to keep up with in the playoff race to make sure they could at least just take the #1 seed or even keep the #2 seed, because as you guys should know, bottom seed or top seeds get a bye week. So definitely would help with both those teams being able to, you know, get some rest, if you will, keep their mind fresh and at attention. That being said, the other team is the Flora Fluttermane, which would definitely prefer to not get out of the playoff race. And this could be a very crucial week, and definitely feels like it. We see the Elga Origin finally getting banned, maybe for the second time. We see Masquerada getting banned. On Sandy's side, I feel like he can definitely pick up this W2-0. I feel like it's not too hard to do this week. Just given that while Pancho's team is mostly offense, the defensive capabilities are not quite as good as Sandy's. And Sandy definitely can make it very much hell. Without Masquerada being around, it's not going to be able to do too much this week in the first place, I felt like. And like with webs from Ariados being able to enable things like Kilowattrel to sweep up, and even something like Belcephalon to sweep up, because that mon's really good this week. This entire week is going to very much determine how and if, you know, Sandy still got that dog in him, which I believe he does, or if Pantros' playoff chances are going to dwindle beginning now. But with that being said, on the other side, Pantros has a very offensive team. I mean, he's going to put up a generational performance and probably go really hard here. I mean, Fluttermane definitely has a really good chance of showing up. While Tinglu is definitely not very fun to have fought with this mon, you have a team composition at least that can just put together so many just good performances against something like that. And finally, we could probably see Orthworm finally do its thing and get its shed tail off, but you know, with Tinglu around, it might just be ruination into bullshit, and you never know what's going to happen there. So anything's possible, of course. I definitely think that everything can go either way. It's very interesting to note, however, that, you know, I definitely think Pantros can win this game. It's very good. I think that it literally will come down to a few turns here and there. And both coaches definitely would like to win this game because, man, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something. But anyways, let's move on to the next matchup, shall we? Oh, I didn't say who I thought would like win by how much. I think it's gonna be Sandy 2-1, but anything's possible. Quite literally, especially with this kind of game, anything's possible, man. But we'll see. Anyways, moving on to the next match, we definitely have the Texas Toadscruel and the Orlando Solar Beartics, which I kind of alluded to earlier, where that what we could see is Texas breaking through and winning their game, and maybe, you know, based on how I know Ian, he might not want to make playoffs at all, so he'll just be like, well, fuck it, I don't want to be here anymore. Or Ian will win just because off the strength, if he wins, he can definitely just secure a playoff spot. Either way, both teams are primed and ready to secure any amount of playoff push. No bans, of course. Ian doesn't ban anymore, and as obligation serves, Texas decides not to ban back. So there is that. With both teams being as free as possible, I think that Landorus is definitely going to put on a little bit more of a show, especially with Intimidate, harming things like Great Tusk and Crydon, and even just in general, Celestial if it's physical and such like that. But I think that the real problem that's going to come up is that Palmot could definitely put on a little bit of a show with its own Terra, and Tapu Fini's alive, so Tapu Fini could definitely put up a lot of good numbers here, not going to lie to you. Very good Mon this week. Very, very good Mon this week. Outside of that, I think QSN should probably take this home. I think that Great Tusk puts up good numbers, especially with like a Clear Amulet, Ice Spinner, Dual Stab, and some other things set. It's just so good this week. Celestial can be very annoying this week, but I feel like you have to kind of bench it for, Mega Charizard in the goddamn sun. In general, Celestial definitely doesn't want to fight things too crazily, because like Dhelmise doesn't really care for Leech Seed, but it would care for Air Slash. So, I don't know, maybe. You still have to break down the Snorlax, which has definitely put up a generational performance every so often. And in general, Celestial might be hard to use this game. I think we might see an X Factor Mon, like I would say Hisuian Electrode put up a really good performance this week, but I don't know anymore. We still haven't seen my Bostiff, I don't think, from Ian's side, maybe once, and that could definitely show up. And I don't really think we've seen too much out of Leavanny or well, we've seen Overkill do things, and we've definitely seen Leavanny do a little bit of things. But you can definitely see Webs this game, but you never know. I think it's Texas 2-0 or Texas 2-1. A lot of these are looking like they can go to Game 3, as long as both the coaches are really just like locked in. But that's not really me asking for anything. That's me mostly saying it could happen. I don't think it will, but it could happen. Regardless, the last game of the week, of course. The Zigzagoon is great fighting the Electabuzz Little League, and we see Mega Charizard Y finally getting banned, and then we see the Annihilate getting banned. I don't really know if you guys understand, but, Zigzagoon is great, needs to win this game very badly to keep up in the playoff race. If they don't, they're basically very much out. Like, I said earlier that they would be out at 0-5, but at 0-6, you're out for real. So, unless Ian and goddamn Texas both cheat and are both out of it, which is damn near impossible, yeah, this is looking like one of those games you definitely need to win for sure. So, let's give it our all here, I think that Mark having the Mega Charizard Y banned is definitely, bad, but I mean, like, Zacian Crown puts in a lot of good work this week no matter what. So, the only thing that you have to worry about realistically is worrying about, like, Avalugg defensively, and even just, like, in general, Ursa Luna defensively. Even with, like, a Choppleberry, you still have to worry about it with Zacian Crown, and then those Mons can definitely put in a lot of good work against that. In addition to that, when you have Mons that can be Scarf, or just in general a little bit faster, in Zacian Crown, it could definitely, be very bad for you. Nothing really outpaces anything on this team. Nothing outpaces Zacian Crown on this team, but I mean, the opposite attack could definitely still put up really good work here. In addition to that, maybe we see Tapu Bulu come back outside. With Mega Charizard Y gone, all you have to worry about is potentially a poison move on Clodsire, and then, like, Buzzwold some of the time. Tapu Bulu could definitely make its appearance again, but then there, again, is that goddamn dog we keep talking about. But I definitely know that for sure Oscar will show me something crazy. But regardless of that, on the flip side, since Charizard Y is banned, and I was talking up Zacian a lot, so Oscar has to figure out how to get around that, and then honestly just put belt to ass. It's a really easy game for him. It's harder for Mark to figure out, damn, can I win this game without Mega Charizard Y? And to me personally, I think Mega Charizard Y would have been great this game, but it's unfortunately got a ban, you know what I mean? Is this going to have to be Rillaboom putting up a little bit more numbers? Is this going to have to be maybe like a Calm Mind, Trick Room, Spear Tube? Is this going to have to be Vaporeon putting up just a little bit more defensive efforts here and there? Though I think Vaporeon's definitely not great this week. Regardless of all this information, this will be at least a good game. I think it'll still be 2-0 going in Oscar's direction, but, if it ends up being 2-1, hey, that's even better. At least, just in general. But that's going to do it for this week. Preview week 5 and week 6 of the MDA. Thank you all for watching. Check out the replays down below. You can also join the server because I know definitively once this is over, I'm going to run a side thing. That's like a little tournament, John, and then we'll get into like another league after that. But I don't know what format that's going to be yet. Obviously, I really don't know because we haven't even gotten to playoffs here, but I'm just letting you know now. Thank you for watching. If you guys like this, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Check out the battles, like I said, down below. And join the server if you're interested ever in Draft League content, especially from me personally because, you know, I'm pretty good at this thing. And none of my formats are ever really that conventional, so you should join up if you like fun and creativity in your Draft League content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, good night and good luck.